Okay, we are live. Welcome everybody to this week's edition of the 10X Business Owners Mastermind Call. This call happens every single Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. And we come here to talk about business owner problems, challenges, concerns, opportunities, pretty much anything business related. And with the combined experience that Alan and myself bring to the table, Alan, you've been in business, about 25 years?
Close to it.
Yep. And so going on 31. So that's 56 years, almost 56 years of combined experience. Incredible. Plus we've got Allison on the line here, about 15 to 20 years of experience. Dan, how long have you been in business?
I started this business in 2005. So whatever that works out to.
Just 5, long time. Ashley, you've been in sales and business for how long?
I'd say about 8 years now.
Okay. So we're going on about 60, 70, maybe 75 years of experience so far on this call. And the way it's designed is like Napoleon Hill came up with this idea and concept back when he wrote the book, Think and Grow Rich, is he used to have these mastermind meetings, these mock mastermind meetings with Andrew Carnegie and all these other people. And it was basically a fictional thing, but he would sit around and pretty much ask himself, hey, what would I do? What would Andrew Carnegie do? And then that just really just exploded the mastermind concept. And it's been used for generation after generation to build large companies, businesses, solve problems. When you think about it as a business owner, I mean, who are you going to talk to? Your competitor? No. So with that said, let's kind of go around the room real quick since we're starting off with a smaller audience, and introduce yourself, share what your business is, and what do you hope to get out of today's call. So we'll start with you, Allie.
All right. Thanks, guys. So I'm actually in the process of opening my own business. I am going to be getting into the virtual assistant market. There is a lot of businesses out there, a lot of business owners that seem to have a lot of jobs that they just don't like to do. They kind of push to the bottom of their pile until it gets to the point where they have to do it. And with being in sales and marketing for the past 15 years, those are things that I'm kind of not afraid to do is, go out there, make cold calls, follow up on leads, whatever it is that maybe a business owner might have or might need. That's where I would like to step in and be a support to that. So I will be looking at acquiring other people who need the help in looking for a job. And so I think it's a really good opportunity for some people that are like Ashley, who maybe want to stay home and work from home if they have young kids. And so just a lot of really good opportunities. So I come to this looking to learn and also share my own experiences.
Awesome. Thank you. Alan.
I blanked out a minute there. John, did you call on me? I'm sorry.
I did.
Okay, very good. So I am Alan Woody Reeves. I own Mouse Calls Technology Solutions, started in 1998. We provide outsourced IT solutions to small businesses, nonprofits, and have a consumer division. I also own Luminosity, which provides value-added services for other organizations to take to their customers.
Awesome. Dan Knapp.
My name is Dan Knapp. I own Red Hot Media Productions. I do websites and video production and animations, and I have a program called Biz Sites, which has a low cost of entry coming into the program, and then a low maintenance fee, and all the updates are included.
Awesome. Ashley.
Hello, my name is Ashley. I work with ADP, as you heard it, probably everyone has, for payroll. So I'm a small business specialist for small business, 1 to 50 employees. We assist everything from hiring to firing or retiring. So really we're that backbone to help drive business success, especially that since we pay out 1 in 5 Americans, we have the data and analytics to show for that. So again, just helping small business in the local area and wishing and hope and trying to help them with success.
Awesome. Welcome to the call. And of course, for those of you that don't know who I am, John Pyron, the business doctor. My passion, heart, and soul is building companies. So I work with companies that are in startup mode all the way up to $5 million a year in revenue. I only work with 12 clients at one time, which means it's all about 15 business problems a week. Times that by 52 weeks, times that by almost 10 years now. A lot of experience there. So I have a lot of fun solving business problems. The main thing I love about this type of call is that's my juice. I love to solve problems. So bring your biggest business problem. If you're listening to this recording, if you're on the podcast, show up to the live call and bring your biggest business problem or challenge and allow us to help you. So with that said, Alan, what is probably the biggest business problem that you've ran across in your client base over the last 2 weeks?
That's a 2-word answer, and it's easy. Willful ignorance.
I love it.
I had a meeting, an hour-long meeting with a new chamber president here in the Nashville area earlier today. It was marvelous. And basically, I described to her the fact that within walking distance of us are 4 different small healthcare providers that have Gmail or Comcast addresses on their printed material and business cards, which is a HIPAA compliance violation. And they're advertising to their patients that we don't care about your privacy. Now, granted, 99% of people that visit these establishments or our patients won't know this. But you are a healthcare provider billing Medicare and insurance companies. You are bound by federal law every bit as much as everybody on this call has to pay taxes. But because it's technology, they put their head in the sand, or they want to look the other way, or it's maybe 3 people that run this practice, and they have it in their head that this is going to be $15,000 a month because that's what hospitals do. And it's just not like that at all. And we can educate people all day long. We can secure them. We can put in place an infrastructure that keeps them safe and compliant and frankly, even insured. But if you don't want to listen to it, or if you're hostile to the idea out of the gate because you have preconceived ideas, you will never move forward, and you'll continue to keep your head in the sand until something really, really, really bad happens. So yeah. There you go. That in a nutshell, willful ignorance.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's like the call I made this morning. One of the things I do with my clients from time to time is they'll come to me with opportunities that they want me to follow up with, for them and have that initial conversation, maybe even take the entire process through to close. And so, a client of mine sent me an opportunity in another market. So finally got a hold of the owner, and come to find out the vendor that we're looking, the type of business that we want to go into and do with this client, they've had a vendor in there for well over 20 years. And so, it's 2 different companies, been using the same provider of services for 20 years. And I just told him, and so I was representing Mouse Calls. Alan's a client of mine. And so, right away, if I was a rookie, if I was just getting started in sales, I'd been like, oh, well, man, it's a 20-year relationship. It's kind of hard to unseat a 20-year relationship. The guy, who knows? The guy probably goes to his church, probably watches his kids. Who knows what the relationship is? But you always got to look at the bigger picture and the bigger opportunities. So I just had a conversation with the guy, business owner to business owner, and just said, hey, I'm not a computer engineer. Are you a computer engineer? No. When's the last time you actually had a second opinion about your IT network and infrastructure? And he says, well, never. And I go, well, here's what I'd be willing to do. Well, actually, let me back up. So the opportunity came, the guy's paying he's like, man, I'm paying $200 a month. Right now, I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say, because most people would walk away from this opportunity. I'm paying $200 a month on my internet bill, and just gotta be a better solution. I'm like, you know what? The guy could have came and said, Alan could have came to me and said, hey, the guy has a problem with the mouse pad he's using, and he's looking for a different type of mouse pad. Okay. The guy could have came to me and said, hey, man, do you know of anybody? My microwave oven is broken in my office, and do you know of anybody? I don't care. Here's the business principle. Whatever it takes for me to get my foot in the door is what I'm looking for. Okay. Whatever it's going to take to get my foot in that door, because he's the right prospect. And so I called him up on the internet thing. And he said, yeah, man. When I think it was a guy named, what was the guy's name that referred us to this dude? I forget his first name. Luke, right? So he goes, yeah, I don't understand why Luke referred me to you guys. I'm just looking for better internet, a lower price. And I said, well, let's talk about that. I could better help you with your internet price by understanding your entire network. So in order for me to, I know you're using a guy. We all have a guy that we use. Okay. We all have a company that we use. But why don't I come in? I'll do a free network assessment. I'll have my buddy Jim Gaba up there go in and do a free network assessment for you. You and I'll have a bunch of conversation about your business, so I could better understand how your operation runs. Then I'll come back with some recommendations on your network. And hey, if you have your guy implement it all, that's fine with me. But at least you'll know that you have either everything set up correctly, or maybe there's some things that need to be tweaked, or maybe you've been paying a person for 20 years and he hasn't done jack. At least you're going to find out. And oh, by the way, get me your phone, your computer, your internet bill. And because I know Mouse Calls has access to about 25 to 30 different carriers, and we can shop that for you. Now, the only reason I'm going to pursue this opportunity is because he has two businesses. Okay. Within those two businesses, they have a need for payroll services. Hint, hint, Ashley. They have needs for website services. Dan Knapp, they have a need for virtual assistant services. Allison, they may have, the primary reason is they have computer network support for Alan. I'm going to go in and look for all the different opportunities that this business has, because the business itself constantly has problems, constantly has needs, constantly has challenges, constantly is spending money. And so I got my foot in the door. He's open to it. We're going to go do a network assessment. I'm going to get his phone bill. I'm going to hand it off to Alan. Jim Gaba is going to go do the network assessment. I'm just going to have a business owner to business owner conversation with the dude. And then I'm going to hop on the call and I'm going to share with him all the findings. This relationship could go nowhere. Okay. But it also could lead to a internet sale. It can lead to a virtual assistant sale. I'm wanting to come out of this deal with some sort of foot in the door, whether it's for, I don't care if it's like a $49 a month Legal Shield membership. I need the person to have a buying experience with me. And this is a business principle. This is a sales principle. As long as you can get somebody to have a buying experience with you and you deliver way beyond what they thought they were going to receive, then guess what you have now? You have an opportunity to go back and make that second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 20th, 5 years later, still selling them stuff. So that's all I wanted to teach on today, is the importance of a connection, the importance of leveraging that relationship. Like I said, this may not go nowhere with the dude, but I also know the other thing that this dude has access to. He has a bunch of people that he probably knows that own businesses. And by me going the extra distance to help this dude out, I've now got social currency with the guy. He's probably going to want to help me out. And if not, guess what? I got more experience going through the exercise. So with that said, look at your own client base. Here's your action item, man. Go look at your own client base. When's the last time you talked to them? When's the last time you made a phone call? When's the last time you called them up and said, hey, man, I was thinking about you. Just wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. How's business? How can I help you? What's the biggest problem challenge that you have? No matter what problem, business challenge they come back to you with, say yes. Say, yeah, man, I know somebody. Even if you don't know somebody, I know somebody. And if you're struggling to find somebody, go to johnpyron.com, book an appointment, call me on the phone. I'm pretty confident I know somebody that can help you refer to them. So with that said, build your network, add to the list. You'll never run out of business opportunities if you do that. So with that said, let me open this up. How we're going to do it. We're at that part in the show where you get to talk about any business problem you have, challenge, opportunity. Maybe it's personal. Maybe like you're struggling with getting motivated, and being consistent. Maybe you're overwhelmed. I learned that when I take on a business owner or business, I'm taking on the business owner. So I deal with all kinds of stuff. So feel free to share your biggest business problem or challenge on here. Understand you're being recorded. Understand this is streaming live on YouTube right now. That's why I would put your either your email or whatever in your name, and so people can connect with you. So let's see. Let's go with Allison first.
Okay, there we go. So let's see, some struggles that I've heard from talking to other business owners, again, is people are still struggling with, I think, finding good help. Trying to get, I've overheard conversations of, people out there trying to find a good person to come work for them. But the thing that you're running into is you're going to have to try to steal somebody who's already working versus somebody who's at home. So what are some tools and recommendations that you guys suggest to start when you're out there going to trying to find somebody to come work for you? When you're trying to steal somebody, basically, then trying to find somebody who's just sitting there, waiting for a job opportunity.
Sounds like a conversation I had an hour and a half ago that you were listening to. Hey, so who wants to help Allison out real quick? Who's got some suggestions, recommendations, questions for Allison? Raise your hand or unmute yourself and just start talking. No one. All right. So I'll take it. And so I had a client conversation this morning, exactly what you're talking about, 12 employees. And it's like just the difficulty of finding talent right now is incredible. And so I gave a strategy to another client about a week and a half ago, and it turned out to be super duper successful. And just let you know where the market is right now and the changes that are in the market. The people you're probably wanting to hire are probably not unemployed. Okay. They're not the ones sitting at home, not looking for a job, just taking advantage of the unemployment thing. They are probably employed. And so the labor market's tight. And so when the labor market's tight, you need to become appealing enough to attract somebody. It's not even about stealing somebody. Because I know this, if that person's being taken care of at their current job, if they are super duper happy at that current job, if they're being challenged, they're in a great culture, they're being compensated correctly, there is no stealing them. They're not going to go nowhere. But the ones that apply, the ones that respond, the ones that send their resume, they're not going to do that unless they're open to moving. So I will play ethically in business, but I will not play fair. Okay. I will take your damn employee at like that. Okay. So you better keep them and you better keep them happy. Now, some people will agree with that philosophy. Some people will be like, man, you're a jerk. No. Hey, great talent will make you money. Okay. Great talent will make you money. Great talent wants to work on a great team. And if you have a great team and you've built a great team, they're not going to go nowhere. Okay. But if they're sending me their resume, they're not happy where they're at. Okay. And so what I told my client, I said, here's the thing that I want you to do over this next week. I want you to do two things. Number one, I want you to go to every single one of your employees. I want you to send every single one of them a survey. And the first question is, give me the top 3 reasons that you accepted the job here and why you wanted to come work here. That's number one. Number 2 question. Now that you've been here and you've worked here, what are the top 3 benefits that you have received by working here? What are the top 3, just when you think about working here, these are the top 3 reasons why you stay working here. And so now you're going to have, if you got 12 employees like this client, you're going to get 12 responses on the first question, because the operations person is going to make sure that they answer this survey. And you're going to get the other 3 questions. And those combined, you need to put together a job ad that says, hey, XYZ company's hiring. We're growing at a record rate. We have a great culture. It's high performing. You take all the keywords that your employees gave you, okay, all the things and all the reasons why they love to be there, and put those in that job ad. Hey, man, the people here are happy. They feel fulfilled when they leave. They don't want to go home. Whatever those employees tell you is the marketing keywords you want to use in your job ad. And you say, hey, look at what Joe said. Put Joe's quote in your job ad. Here's what the job entails. Here's the fun things that you're going to get to do here. If you want to be challenged intellectually, it's this. You got to basically write some sales copy to track the job ad. Now, if I'm, let's see, what one of the number one thing that they're looking for right now is a bookkeeper. If I'm a bookkeeper and I see a job ad out that says bookkeeper needed, established company looking for bookkeeper, here's your job responsibility, submit your resume here. That's one job ad. The other job ad is everything I just talked about. They're a great company. This is the type of employees that we're looking for. Here's what our employees currently say. You're going to be challenged. You're going to be fulfilled. You're going to be doing all this stuff. If that's you and you're looking for a home, submit your resume and tell us why we should call you. So the difference between the 2 job ads is night and day. This one is more attractive. This one is like just the typical job ad. And it's what people were doing prior to COVID. Now that we're beyond this, people, unless you're going to do a bunch for them, they don't need to come work for you. They got plenty of opportunities out there right now. There's plenty of opportunities for employees. So that's the information. That's the feedback I gave them. Hopefully that has helped everybody. And does that help you out, Allison?
Yeah, thank you very much.
If I can make a quick add on that, John.
Sure.
What you said. So we had a meeting last Friday at work, and you mentioned the top 3 things in regards to benefits for millennials and the next generation. Any guesses on benefits of what a millennial would have wants when they get hired?
Flexibility of time.
Benefits though. So
benefits.
Yes.
Probably not medical.
Yeah, you would be surprised. They had more concern about pet insurance for them to be, yes, because everybody has a pet now. But the millennials, that's something that they're looking for right now, as far as pet insurance, medical, vacation, so it's a whole new generation that we're evolving and having new employees come into. So pretty interesting there. And then, like you mentioned, with the job ads and postings, we're seeing trends right now that businesses are opening slowly with COVID. But I mean, as far as health insurance goes, having those extra benefits added to your job is going to attract those top quality employees, because the turnover rate with small businesses, and especially in California, these new laws and mandates are making it harder. It's burning more of a hole in your small business owner's pocket. So there's actually advantages in tax savings when you go into it about these benefits, and that can benefit the owner at the same time pleasing your employee. So just found that pretty interesting.
So pet insurance, health insurance, what were the other top benefits?
Pet insurance, medical insurance, and then of course retirement. So, you're getting a lot of people now looking at, stock market, investing, retirement. It's a new generational approach as far as, especially with the stock markets right now and people investing with their retirement.
So this is a great question for you, and this could benefit everybody, but especially those in California, is where are we at tier wise now? How many employees do you have to now provide retirement for? How many,
Yeah.
what's the minimum threshold?
So coming into this end of this year, I believe it is starting in the next month, it's going to be Cal Savers for 5 employees or more. So Cal Savers is like the state fund of California with workers' comp. So highly suggest, like with ADP, we offer those benefits and things that are integrated with your payroll. But they will be bringing that out, and they've already affected small businesses all the way down to 5 employees. So including that sexual harassment mandate that I remember talking to you probably about all last year. Well, it came into effect in January. So they are really cracking down and have gotten it down to the minimum of 5 for a small business.
And next year it goes up to 10.
My worry is it could go lower. So at first they had it at the 50 threshold.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Then it
Okay.
went down to
All
the
right.
10. So now we're at 5, but then again, there's more laws and things in place to satisfy employees and how business needs to be ran. So it goes on forever.
Okay. So, and this starts January 1, right?
January, as of January.
I mean, not January 1, July 1st.
Correct. And I will give a confirmation on the exact date, since I'm not a licensed 401k specialist, but I do have a partner that I work closely with our CPAs and banks.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're a business owner in California, and this doesn't matter where you're at. I mean, you can be in Nashville, you can be wherever. Don't learn the hard way. If you mess around with employee benefits or you don't do things right as it comes to employees, you will get sued. Okay. A client of mine going through a lawsuit right now. They're looking for a settlement of $145,000. Okay. And a lot of it's bogus, but California, there's a law that says, hey, if I request my employee file and you don't give it to me in 30 days, that's actually a state fine and some damages to the employee, whether they're employed with you or not. And so what I would tell people is, like, bring in somebody like Ashley in June of every year or December of every year minimum, especially if you live in California, because it's January 1 and July 1st is when they implement all this, all these BS laws. It's reality. And have you look over the employee handbook, the entire HR process, and give you the feedback to protect yourself, because a lot of business owners don't even know about this. This affects a lot of small business owners if you have 5 or more employees in this. It's like me and Allison's friend Tim. He has 9 DJs or 7 DJs. Well, with the law that they passed or they voted in last year, his category is not exempt. So he can no longer subcontract those employees out. He has to, or those people out. He has to have them as employees. Well, now with this new law that's going to kick in July 1st, he probably doesn't know that, hey, now that you got 5 or more employees, you're going to have to set up some sort of retirement plan for them. And I guarantee a lot of small business owners don't know that. So the point is bring somebody in that's a specialist in the areas of business that you want to get consulting in. If it's IT, get a hold of Alan. If it's a website, get a hold of Dan. If it's a virtual admin, you want your virtual admin or customer service or any of that type of stuff, you bring in Allison. If you want your payroll or HR or any of that stuff, you bring in Ashley. And work with professionals to get to where you want to go in your goals. So who's next? Who's got a business problem, challenge, opportunity they want to discuss? Or do I got to call on you? Brian, I was just thinking about you, buddy.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to step outside in one moment. How you guys doing?
Good. Yourself?
Good. I'm doing all right. Sorry, I kind of tapped in a little late, but I made it.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge you got right now, man?
All right. There we are. So one thing that we're actually currently running into is going to be based on, hiring new employees. Since the reopening of California, we've probably gone through, I want to say 2 new employees, which didn't pan out. We're probably going to need to be letting one go next week. Yeah, I guess the question would be how to find, yeah, like Allison said, how to find talent. Our strategy, and I'm one of the examples, is to hire on people that don't necessarily have all the knowledge. That way you're not, paying a buttload of money right away, but then you gain the experience, you earn your raises, so on and so forth. How do you find that talent that's willing to stick around and absorb knowledge and stuff like that?
That's a great question for Allison to start off with.
So what I've done, or what I've suggested people doing is, and I think you were on a call that we talked about this before, there's a lot of high school programs. We were talking to somebody about doing video, doing social media marketing, things like that. So I'll use that as an example. There's a lot of high school students out there who are getting into the media side of business and want to learn that type of knowledge or job as they get older. And so I've always said to look for somebody who's willing to learn, especially when you go into the summer. You have kids out there that are looking for jobs. You have young college students who are looking for jobs, I'm sure. And so to go to those schools, kind of use it as your platform to find talent out there that, you have people that are looking to get into the industry or in industry. And so they're kind of open to that training. And so to team up with some of the local high schools, some of the local colleges, to kind of, see who's interested in learning whatever, job it is that you're willing to teach them. And then you can start with a lower salary, a lower hiring scale than you would normally because they don't have the experience. But, that it does cost an investment when you're bringing on a new employee. There's a lot of money you invest in when you hire somebody new. So that's where I would start, is to find those places out there, somebody you can work with, to say, hey, this is what I have coming up. Can you refer me to somebody that I can talk with? So that's an option.
Okay. Well, no,
Awesome. And to piggyback on that, a lot of people don't know this, and this is an actual federal program. So this applies even to Tennessee and pretty much anywhere in the country. Is you can go to any local college and let's just say you're looking for a marketing professional, or you're looking for a business development professional, or whatever it is you're looking for. You want to find somebody that's majoring in that category at their college. Okay. And go to the college and say, hey, I'm looking for somebody to have as an intern, a paid intern, and they'll give you candidates. Then you run them through an assessment. Their behaviors, their motivators, their driving forces, their competence. It's something that definitely Allison can help anybody out on this call or listening to the recording with. So you have about a 93% accuracy of the person. Then you want to interview them. And, if anybody wants, I have a whole process for hiring people. I'll just give everybody for free. And it has all these in step-by-step with the interview questions and everything. So, but you ask those questions, you walk them through this process. And if you decide to hire them from that college, then it's a paperwork process. That college will reimburse you as an employer 50%. That's 50% of the entire cost of that employee for the first 6 months. Okay. Now let me repeat that. If you hire an intern from any college in this country, okay, there's a federal program that will allow you to submit paperwork to get reimbursed for 50% of that employee's salary, taxes, everything. Okay. And so you can get somebody for $20 an hour and it's only going to cost you 10. You can get somebody for $15 an hour. It's only going to cost you $7.50. So it's a great program. I have several clients of mine that have done it successfully. One is now at 24 employees in the Bay Area. The other one's at 12 here in Sacramento. The other one is now they just hired their 7th person using this program. Saved them a boatload of money. They got great talent. They're bringing on people that don't have bad habits from past companies, and they're able to groom these people from scratch. And so Hope that's been helpful. If you want information about that, send me your name, first name, last name, and email address to 916-741-0596. So 916-741-0596. I'll send you the whole hiring packet stuff. And then connect with Ashley as well, because they got programs there as well. Does that answer your question, Brian? Does anybody else have any feedback for Brian? Nope.
Brian, are you local in California?
Yeah, I work for a company called Employers First Choice out in Citrus Heights.
Okay. Just locally, I know San Juan High School has a program too. That's local. And I just had a client, and the federal, it's kind of, I don't know the logistics of it, but San Juan has like a specified program for it too.
Fantastic. Hey, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Does this apply just to high school, or is it like community colleges? Colleges.
It's a question for Ashley, right?
So the San Juan Unified School District is high school. So I believe, and please don't quote me on it, but from what my client had said, she's 100% reimbursed through high school. And that's through the San Juan Unified School District. So it didn't make sense for us to put her on payroll at the time. But that employee is graduating. So in the next month, we're going to review, and, she's going to need to hire on.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it was a no-brainer. I mean, I'm not going to sign her up on payroll if it's not needed, because that's a huge expense.
Yeah. I wonder if other high school districts do the same thing.
That's the first one I've heard. Yeah.
Let me talk to my virtual assistant, and I'll have her look into that. Oh, wait, she's on the call. Hey, can you look into that for me? See, this is one of the, hey, I want to point something out. This is why you want to have a virtual assistant. Okay. Because I would love to know more about the program. I actually would leverage that program with the amount of clients that I have. But the last thing I need to do is research that program. Okay. So it'd be better for me to have an assistant research the program. And so if you don't have a VA, the big myth is like, okay, I'm gonna have to commit all this money. I like one of my VAs, I only use her 7 hours a week, but she handles all my social media stuff. She handles all the graphic stuff, all the stuff I don't want to do. So as you're building your company, and as you get to the different levels in your company, there's going to be times where you have enough revenue where you're like, I need to do that anymore at all. And you start delegating that stuff. And so that way you're more freed up to do the things that you want to do. It's like my client up in Reading just got back from being gone for 2 weeks in vacation. And we designed the whole situation while she was gone. She wasn't going to check in. She wasn't going to be, she wasn't going to be bothered at all. So we can see, can this operation run without you? And conversation I had with her this morning, it's like, you know what? I think I got a call from my operations person twice to just vent. She was complaining to me about all the stuff going on in the office. And I'm like, just listening. I didn't take on any of it myself. I just said, well, sounds like you got some challenges on your hands. All right, I'm gonna get back to my vacation. Have a great day. And so she came back. She's like, the company ran without me. I go, good. She goes, well, I'm going to move my office downstairs now because I don't need to be involved in the fray anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's where you want to get to. Thing running without you, man. So, but that's the joy of having a good talent on staff. And heck, man, if you can get high school to pay 100% of it, or even college to pay for 50% of it, lots of talent out there. Okay. Any other feedback on this particular subject? Okay. Let's open it up to Ashley. Anything you want to go over? Any challenge, problem, issue, concern, opportunity you want to mastermind on?
Yeah. So you guys don't know, but I just had a little girl in August. So I returned in January. And so I kind of skipped all the COVID craziness that was going on and got at the end of it. So right now I would say a challenge, because my business owners are my clients. Right now, the challenge is businesses are just trying to stay afloat in their mind with everything going on. It's part of that growth. Like a few of you were mentioning that, if you want to have and wear all these hats as a business owner, where is your time right now to focus on the growth and generate revenue for your business? So a lot of the times my struggles with my initial appointments right now, because we sell on value, not cost, is really, for them to understand what it means and to avoid any penalties or fines. So you want to start from the ground, successfully on the right foot, having all the tools and resources at your fingertips. And, so my issue now, I would say, is a few of those clients that I had before I left, I'm getting phone calls now in January 2021 because they don't have the mandated sexual harassment. Labor Board came into their business location and found expired labor posters that aren't updated. So all that tedious stuff as a business owner, which you shouldn't have to worry about, they are worrying about it. And now they're facing those penalties and fines compared to the value of a service they could have received where they wouldn't have this issue whatsoever. One interesting thing, I spoke with one of my CPAs who's a big influencer, trying to take a look at my notes, is there's a new lawsuit coming out that even if it's a couple cents, 63 cents, that you mispay your employee. And again, with California and other, it's actually federal now. It could be up to, they have a client right now facing a $63,000 fine for being 0.63 cents off of a payroll. So again, numbers, QuickBooks, if you're wearing all those hats, again, it's going to cost you down in the long run. So if you want it right, you don't want to take the liability, outsourcing, finding your vendors, finding a one-stop shop, it just makes sense. And they don't really get to figure that out till they're in the hole.
Yeah. Hey, and I'll add on to that. It's like this client of mine is getting sued because pretty much anybody can sue you. Doesn't mean that it's going to go anywhere, right? So he got this, like a 16-page complaint from this employee's attorney, because there are attorneys out there that will write letters for free on behalf of an employee. And they're basically these template letters that go out and they scare the hell out of business owners. And they're like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Well, he came to me and he showed it to me. And I'm like, well, the nice thing about you is you have a payroll service. Okay. And it's very similar to ADP, not as good as ADP, but it's a payroll service. Okay. And out of all the complaints that were on that, every single one of them is the payroll services company's problem, not this employer's problem, because all the payroll, all the stuff that he's being sued over goes through that payroll process. So that stuff's not going to go nowhere because it's handled well, right? It's handled right. The only thing that he is going to be in a pickle about is the employee requested in writing the employee file, and they just ignored it. And so they went beyond the 30 days. So they're going to get about, I think the fine on that's about $1,500 when everything's said and done, because he didn't give the employee the file. But had he not had a payroll service, been doing his payroll on his own, or not had an actual service, and I'm not talking like these $10 a month payroll services where you just go in and you fill out your stuff and you submit it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an actual service where they give you labor posters, they give you all this stuff like ADP here. You need to protect yourself because an employer, okay, just so you know, if you're an employer, the moment that employee departs your building, the moment you two sever their relationship, they have up to 4 years to go back and claim whatever the hell they want to claim. And the burden of proof is on you, the employer. Okay. So always remember that. Never let somebody get away with not filling out a timesheet, signing it, that sort of thing. Okay. The burden of proof is on you, the employer, especially in the state of California, the country of California, I should say. Okay. It's different here. Okay. If you don't want to be under that subject, then get a hold of Alan Reeves and move out to Tennessee, and Alan can hook you up and he can become an IT company for you. And he can even do that no matter where you live in the world. So that's my 2 cents there. Anybody else got any feedback for Ashley or any questions? Nope. Okay. Thanks. Dan Knapp. What's on your mind today?
I don't have anything today.
You don't have anything. Everything is perfect.
Observation mode.
You're in observation mode. Okay, great. Alan Reeves.
No, thank you. My mouse quit working. This is just a comedy of errors for me today. I'm sorry about that. So this doesn't happen in every industry, but now I'm dealing with something that happens a lot in technology, and I'm sure that it happens a lot in some other fields. But long story short, we have a client. They're an auto repair shop. They've been established for many, many years. They do great work. You take your car in there, they'll find every single thing that's wrong with it, document pictures, email them to you within 24 hours. You basically pick what you need fixed. They have a running record of it. It's white glove, cradle to grave car service. Good stuff. They've been a client of ours for about 5 years. They have a new employee. This new employee is a technology hobbyist / enthusiast. He talks about the different browsers that he uses and how one's better than another, and talks about the different software packages that you hear about on the Kim Commando show and programs like this. And the other day when I encountered this guy for the first time, it was fine. He wanted to talk shop about computers. But now I had a tech out there yesterday installing some rugged notebooks that they use in their shop. And we distribute these. They have a carry handle and the rubberized coating, and they're meant to be dropped. These are great machines, but they're expensive too. And our client relies on us to maintain his cybersecurity and everything else. It's and without sounding disparaging, it's at a different level than what this guy is used to. It's at a different level than somebody that is trying out the latest version of Firefox, or maybe knows enough to boot up a machine in Linux, or wants to talk about how Mac is better than PC. I mean, we're just operating at a different level, and that's okay. But now, after what happened yesterday with my engineer and this guy wanted to step in and basically do part of this work, connect them to the Wi-Fi, install the printers, etc., while my engineer is there. And it's just because he wants to do it. Now, this is problematic on several levels, and it's causing me to immediately call a review meeting with my client, with the ownership, because it doesn't sound like it's harmful. But just imagine, and I'm going to say this, just imagine for a moment that I dispatch a tech out there to this client to install a wireless access point, install new computers, update software, just whatever it is we do. And that engineer just happens to be, a grease monkey, and decides while he's there that he wants to help work on people's cars that are there in this facility. Now, that doesn't sound like it's a good analogy, but at the end of the day, this mechanic is wanting and taking the initiative to work on a piece of property that is not his. And on occasion, in technology, we find this kind of problem. And Dan, I'm sure you've encountered it from time to time, where you have somebody that's got enough knowledge to be dangerous. And, and I have these conversations. A lot of times we will be approached by clients that don't have a full capacity understanding of what we do. We had a gentleman call in the other day, and honestly, he hit the words out of his mouth was, "I need to figure out how to connect an email address to my website." So that's fine. He's got rudimentary knowledge, kind of knows what he wants. But, I gave him a call, and he had no idea that was something that involved a subscription of any kind. Like if you have a business domain or business email, you're paying a monthly or annual fee or some sort to keep that going. And these are services. In his mind, he's thinking, well, I'll just call a computer guy and he'll set it up for me.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question.
Well,
So in this,
you gotta deal with it.
so in this customer, it's been a client of yours for 5 years. Get a new employee comes in, he's a jailhouse lawyer or whatever. He kind of dabbles in computers and he wants to give the owner advice, and he knows all this and he knows this and he knows that. And so what is the question? What's the challenge here? How can we help you on this?
Well, essentially at the end of the day, obviously I've got to meet with the ownership to talk, to address the situation.
Mhm.
But also, even when I do that, I don't want this guy touching anything.
Yeah.
I mean, from a liability standpoint, from a professionalism standpoint, and he can be told not to do that.
This is a VIP plan customer, or is this a managed service customer?
It's a managed service customer.
Okay. They have a server and workstations and all that stuff.
They do.
Okay. We have an agreement in place with them.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, what I would do is just get a hold of the owner, have that meeting with the owner and just say, hey, listen, man, we're charging you a flat fee. And the reason we're charging you a flat fee is because we own the network. You own it, but we own the ownership and the management of it and the taking care of it and making sure you have no problems. And the reason we're charging you a flat fee is because we make our money when you don't have problems. That's how we make our money. Well, if we don't have any control of the network and this new person is allowed to touch anything on that network, okay, you need to understand what your agreement says, that we're going to bill you by the hour to get that network back to where we had it before he touched it.
So let's flip this a moment. I can work that with you all day long, but
sure,
a more generic message for just business owners. Let's go out of the gate. You're a business owner and you have an employee that is trying to create value around himself, but is getting out of his lane in doing so. What's the message on how a business owner corrects that person and still boost them and lift them, if that's possible?
Excellent question. Excellent question. So when you have multiple employees, and the larger the company, the more this is prevalent, is you're looking for those employees that want to take on the initiative to do more. Okay. But they also need to understand what they're responsible for. Very good, well-written job descriptions handles that a lot. Having what's called a coaching session with that employee at least once a quarter minimum, and helping keep them focused on, here's the things that I need for you to do in the company. These are your number one priorities to get done. And if you have any ideas or anything that will improve the processes, systems, the overall company, definitely bring those ideas to the table so we can talk about them. But I don't want you playing outside of your lane without, permission. Okay. We want to reward you for your ideas. We are totally open to having that conversation, but there's so many different people that are responsible for so many different things in this company that I don't want you wasting your time doing stuff that's being done by somebody else. So you turn it into a positive, the way I look at it is, if I have an employee that's doing their job and they're knocking their job out of the park and they're doing great, and that's still not challenging for them, and they're looking for other things to do to make themselves more valuable, hey man, let's talk. You want a raise? You can have a raise every single week if you want one. But this is what I need to have happen in order for that to work. So if you got a gung-ho person like that that's looking to expand their skill set, expand their role in the company, my attitude would be to praise them for it and put in a way for them to have the freedom to expand their knowledge, to come up with new ideas. And maybe you create an internal mastermind group with 2 or 3 employees where they can mastermind on these problems. And, you, the owner, they bring to you what they have spent time masterminding on. Okay. Never be afraid of of employees being smarter than you, okay, or your managers or anything else. You want to surround yourself as a business owner with people that are excellent and greater at their role than you are. That's how you grow and that's how you scale. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Okay. Anybody else? Actually, we're kind of out of time, but real quick, anybody else got any other feedback for Alan on this issue? Nope. Okay. All right, everybody. It's been a great call. This is going to be up and processed on YouTube in probably the next 2 minutes. So you can go back and rewatch it all you want. It'll be up on the podcast channel tomorrow. And share this out. Make your comments. Put your comments about what you took away from this call. Share it on your news feed, your LinkedIn, your social networks. Help us grow this audience. And if there's ever anything that I or Alan or anybody on this call could do for you, just get a hold of them directly. You can go to my website at johnpyron.com, and there's all kinds of resources up there for you. So go out and make it a great week. We'll talk to you next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Bye, everybody. Bye.